Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Finding Yourself Again, where we focus on hope, healing, and recovery from toxic narcissistic abuse. The ultimate goal is to establish self-love, healthy relationships, and ultimately find yourself. My name's Don Trey. I'm a survivor of toxic abuse from a narcissist / borderline. If you find these videos to be helpful to you, I ask that you subscribe, like, share the content, and watch any other videos on my channel that may be helpful to you or others. I ain't gonna hold y'all up, so with that being said, let's get into today's video. Alright y'all, so today's video is going to be about how to forgive yourself after toxic abuse. And I think this is an important video to talk about and discuss, right? Important topic, because I've experienced having to forgive myself after toxic abuse. And to be honest with you, like, I've also forgiven my abusive ex-partner. Now, whether you choose to do that or not is up to you. I'm not encouraging you to or not to. I'm just letting you know what I chose to do. And the reason that I chose to forgive my partner is because I felt that that was something that I needed to do in order to let go of the baggage of the damage and the things that I was carrying from the past. I don't want to live every day blaming somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm better than that. You know what I'm saying? And just move on. You know what I mean? And although I discuss these topics, it's not me pointing the finger at nobody. It's me assisting you and myself with the healing process, right? And on the healing journey. So that's the reason why I created this video. I think it's a really important topic and a really important thing to understand. You know what I'm saying? Is forgive yourself when you have been through abuse. And if you can't find it in your heart to forgive the abuser, I would at least encourage you to find it in your heart to forgive yourself for whatever that may be. Any of your mistakes that you made in life, so let's get into the video. And my bad, I know I'm a little bit sweaty, y'all. I just got done working out. I'm in the car. I'm not trying to turn the car on and have the AC blowing and messing with the video and shit like that. So I'm just gonna be sweating, but it's all good. I'm gonna go ahead and get this video, knock this video out for y'all right quick. I wanted to include the definition of forgiveness, right? So in the context of healing from toxic abuse, isn't about condoning the harmful actions of another person or saying that what happened is okay. Instead, think of it as a tender act of releasing yourself from the chains of anger, resentment, and pain that binds you to the past. It's about choosing to lay down the emotional burden so you could move forward with a lighter heart. So if you could understand the topic of this video is, basically saying in basic layman's terms, is like, it's not about you forgiving your partner. It's about you forgiving yourself so you don't carry the emotional burden and the baggage, like I was saying. All right, so let's go over the origin of forgiveness. The concept of forgiveness has deep roots in spiritual and philosophical traditions across cultures, often seen as a path to inner peace and reconciliation. In the context of trauma and abuse recovery, the focus shifts from religious or societal expectations to the individual's personal journey of healing and liberation from suffering. So if you could kind of understand what that is saying, it's basically saying, like, in the context of what we talking about, trauma, abuse, and recovery, the focus shifts from like the religious and societal aspects and expectations of forgiveness, and it moves toward and it shifts towards like being more about your healing and your personal journey and your freedom from the suffering, right? So let's talk about the role that it plays in toxic relationships, right? So In toxic relationships, they leave behind deep wounds of betrayal, hurt, and injustice. I'm sure we all know that, right? And holding on to the anger and resentment that naturally arises can inadvertently keep you stuck to the abuser and the pain they inflicted on you. Forgiveness becomes a strong tool for reclaiming your inner atmosphere. This is about refusing to let the abuser's actions continue to poison your present and your future. It's a way of saying, you no longer have power over my emotional well-being. If you could get what that's saying right there. Um, you don't want to hold on to the anger and the resentment. That is going to naturally arise from you dealing with a relationship of this type of nature, and you don't want to hold on to those things. So forgiveness will be like your best tool to combat that. All right, y'all. So the next one, let's talk about how it manifests, right? So initial stirring of release. So this is how forgiveness manifests. So it might begin as a tiny seed of willingness to let go of the intense emotional charge surrounding the memories of abuse. That was kind of similar to me. After a certain amount of time that passed by, there's that thought or that willingness to let go of the intense emotional charge that's around me, and the memories of the abuse. There's no need to remember that. There's no need to go into, unless you talking about it with like a professional or something like that, but other than that, not much need. The next one is going to be understanding, not excusing. So forgiveness involves gaining a deeper understanding of the dynamics of abuse and the abuser's motivations without excusing the behavior. This understanding can lessen the personal sting. And that's absolutely true, because I felt the same thing. Once I started like looking, I initially I started learning more about what my ex-partner had, the disorder that she had, through YouTube. And then I started going and buying books, because initially I was trying to save my relationship. Come to find out, after reading through the books and understanding the process of what happens in these processes, I realized that I would have eventually been discarded anyway, regardless. Or I would have just lived a terrible life with somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to do that. So I think for me, when I truly understood, like, it's not that she just don't love me because maybe she don't want to, and she's doing all these things because she just hates me or whatever. Like, she has a mental health disorder that I cannot change. Nobody can change. She has to be the one that wants to be ready and willing to work on it and start to make those changes in her life, but it'll still never go away, right? So, but what I'm trying to get at here is, once I understood that it really wasn't me and it was her disorder that was the main problem at hand in the relationship, I realized, oh, okay, like it stung less. The things she was saying and the way she was acting and treating me, I'm like, oh, she's just saying that because that's how she is. That's what her disorder make her do. You feel me? So once you really understand that, you understand, like, oh, it's really just a disorder at this point. All right, so the next is going to be focus on your healing. So the main reason / motivation for forgiveness becomes your own well-being and your own desire to move forward without the past being a problem. So make it about you, right? The next one is setting boundaries with the past. Forgiveness don't mean forgetting or reconciling with the abuser. It means creating healthy emotional boundaries with the past so that it no longer dictates your present. So the next one is self-compassion as a catalyst. Often the ability to forgive others begins with extending deep compassion to yourself for what you went through. So if you want to forgive other people, it would be best to start with yourself anyway, because that'll give you the foundation and give you the ability to be able to forgive other people more willingly, right? So that's something to think about right there. A gradual process. Forgiveness is rarely a linear journey. There's gonna be ups and downs. I say this a lot. Linear means like straightforward. It's not. Forgiveness ain't gonna be just straight up. There's gonna be obstacles, breakdowns, ups, downs. There may be days when anger comes back, and that's okay and normal. It's about gently getting back to the intention of releasing the emotions. So the next one is gonna be inner peace, the reward. Remember, the ultimate manifestation of forgiveness is often a sense of greater inner peace, freedom, and the ability to focus on building a happier and healthy future. Remember that this is a reward for you. That is why you want to have forgiveness, because it rewards you with things like inner peace and freedom and the ability to focus on more important things in your life, right? Than all this other bullshit, blaming other people, right? And don't get me wrong, guys, these people are, like, these people are definitely to blame for their actions. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot, for whatever a human does, a human is should be held accountable for their actions, in my belief, just like most other people's belief, right? Sadly, that's not always the case, but at the end of the day, God knows I believe in God. I'm a spiritual person, and that's what I believe. So the next one is going to be important and unique information. So remember, forgiveness is completely personal and optional. There's no right or wrong timeline. There's no right or wrong way or timeline for it. Survivors should never feel pressure to forgive their abusers. True forgiveness is for the survivor's benefit, not the abusers. So that's kind of just reiterates like what I've been saying. Remember, it's forgiveness is more so about you than it is about them. I know a lot of people are gonna think like, "Oh, I ain't gonna forgive them because they don't deserve it." Well, they probably don't, but it's not about forgiving them. It's about forgiving everybody and anybody in order to make sure that you are are happy and peaceful in your life. It's about freeing oneself from the emotional bondage of the past. Sometimes the most powerful act of forgiveness is forgiving yourself for any perceived shortcomings or for staying in the abusive relationship for too long. I know I definitely had that, sticking around in the relationship for too long and then feeling like, damn, oh, why did I stay in a relationship this long with somebody that didn't ever love me, didn't ever, or whatever, just for what, just telling myself a bunch of negative bullshit. And that's not really the way to you want to think. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to just have forgiveness. Trust me, it makes everything 10 times easier when you just forgive and move on. So the next one is going to be skills and tips to embrace self-forgiveness. So first one is going to be acknowledge and validate your feelings. So allow yourself to feel your emotions, whether it's anger, sadness, anxiety, and make sure to do this without judgment. Don't judge yourself for whatever feelings you're going through. Just allow yourself to feel them and go through them healthily, in a healthy way. Remember that these feelings are valid responses to your past experiences. However you're feeling is more than likely a valid reason as to why you're feeling that way. So don't ever think, oh, I shouldn't feel like this, I'm a guy, or I'm a tough girl, or I'm a tough guy. Like, none of that. You know what I mean? Like, just understand that you feel what you feel for a reason, right? Next one is going to be focus on healing. So direct your energy toward activities and practices that promote your well-being and help you to move forward. So that's, I've talked about that in some of my other videos. Y'all can check them out. But you want to do things that promote your well-being and help you move forward in your life, whatever that is that you're particularly trying to do. You should have some goals. If not by now, you should be making some goals. So you should kind of have an idea, more or less. All right, y'all. So the next one is going to be to set healthy boundaries. I have a whole video on this right here, setting healthy boundaries. But this basically includes emotional boundaries, with setting emotional boundaries with the past and with anyone who minimizes your experiences or pressures you to forgive. So, and I've had to set boundaries with family members, man. I'm talking loved ones. I'm talking like, I'm not trying to get into too much detail, but like very, very close family members who I've had to distance myself with because of this right here, invalidating how I feel, minimizing my experiences, minimizing my emotions, pressuring me not really to forgive but just to move on, so. And they don't understand that these types of toxic relationships are they do a lot of damage to you, and it's truly a process to get out of the mud. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all know what I'm saying. So so just watch out for that and distance yourself from those people. The next one is going to be seek support. So talking to a therapist or support group can provide a safe space to process your feelings and explore the possibility of forgiveness at your pace. I think it's best to talk to a therapist or a support group. Better than family, because a therapist is a professional and usually a support group is handled by a professional as well. So you don't really want to talk about mental health things to people that don't know about mental health, right? So it's pretty straightforward. I don't really need to go in too much detail with that. You can watch my other videos. I go into more detail about that. The next one is going to be journaling and reflecting. So writing down your thoughts and feelings. This can help you to gain clarity and insight in your healing process. So journaling is really good. I know it's a lot of dudes out there think it's probably gay or whatever. Honestly, I don't really care what anybody thinks. I journal. I do it in my phone sometimes, but I mostly do it in a little tiny journal that I have, and I'll just basically write my day and my thoughts and my feelings in it. It's really small. It's like a page. I might do a page or maybe two. They're small. But it's basically, I do that in order to, it's kind of like a form of therapy for me. It allows me to get out my thoughts and feelings for the day, and at the same time it also allows me to go back in the future. It allows me to go back and see where my mind was at, what I was going through, how I was dealing with things, how healthy I was mentally. So in a way, it's almost like a tracker. Well, not in a way, it is a tracker. So the next one is going to be understand forgiveness is a gift to you. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but remind yourself that the act of forgiveness is ultimately about freeing you from the burden of your past, allowing you to create a brighter future for yourself. Remember, the journey of healing is a testament to your strength and your resilience in this world. Forgiveness, when it feels right to you, can be a beautiful, necessary step towards reclaiming your power and embracing a future full of peace and self-love. All right, y'all. So that's the video right there. I know I'm all sweaty. I need to go take a shower. I just was doing some acrobatic activities, but I don't even know if I said that right, but I was just working out, y'all. But anyways, I hope y'all appreciate the video, man. I've been really making a lot more videos lately and just trying to put this content out there for y'all because I know it's going to be helpful to somebody out there. I wish that I had somebody like me to immediately relate to that was kind of like my age and stuff like that when I was going through this. Not saying that the other people didn't help me. I've looked up plenty of other YouTubers in this field, and I love their content, man. It's got me through many days of hard times, so shout out to them, man. And I just want to thank everybody that watches this video, and I'm going to ask if you made it to here, please subscribe to my channel. That's a big help to me. I'm trying to get my subscriber count up so that this can reach out to more people. Drop a like, drop a comment, share the content with somebody who might appreciate it or might need it. Stay tuned. I drop videos daily. I'll see y'all next time.